current coalition does not know what they're doing. And it makes me feel so depressing to even talk about it, that I was one of the ones of the MPs who was trying his best to make it work every day, trying to communicate with him. What's the latest? What's our agenda accord for the country of St. Martin? What's the ideas? Nobody could communicate with me, therefore they had it in their mind that I'm somebody. It's not worthy for them. That's not worthy for them that I am elected, so they never give me the proper respect. And this is something I can't sit with. This is something I can't deal with. It's been hitting me all the time throughout all my, I'm somebody who does work tremendously hard. I'm somebody who don't take no for an answer. I love challenges, but I see that this challenge to have a coalition like this, to govern this country, it would have been a disaster. I'm here to say, Kevin Mingret is saving St. Martin's people. And therefore I understand you all might not agree to this decision, but in the future you will see my work ethic to show you that this will happen, and it's the best for St. Martin. Imagine I myself have to lobby with an opposition at the time. And if we are 8 members, why do we have to lobby all the time with the opposition? It's just sickening to me. Therefore, on May the 1st, 2nd, when we had to bring in the credentials, I hearing members that don't want to come and show and play politics. Why are we playing politics? Well, we have to bring the other members who are selected to come in Parliament. Why are we trying to lobby? And now they want to accuse me. Not in my DNA for me to be bribed to set up my people in St. Martin. I know the decision I take today, like I said, a lot may not agree with it, but God knows why. He gave me the guidance to make sure to do the proper decision. And I'm here as an independent member. All y'all may be thinking I'm coming home with NA and up, but I'm coming as an independent to join forces with NA and the UP party to bring sustainability for our future St. Martin and its people.
Simple, for example, Article 45 of the Rules of Order clearly states if a motion is brought to the table, sub 2, that Parliament decides if it goes to another meeting or not. Not the chair of Parliament, but to not even be able to put it on the table for a vote is like, hey, you're dealing with kids. So I could understand, the frustration from MP Mingret when it comes to, and he sat there every day and he saw it for himself. He saw exactly what took place, and they're going to try all kind of narratives and all kind of games. But MP Marlin has a nice summary of all of them, and I don't want to say it or why he said, because he said a little more passionate than I do, because it is crazy what is going on here. We don't want to go back 20 years. The NA, including MP Mingret, now as an independent, but including MP Mingret, we have worked very, very hard to bring this country to where it is, and we have a lot of plans to continue it. And in our budget debate, you heard all the ministers speak with their plans on what they wanted to see be materialized, and that was off the bat. There wasn't nothing that we had to think too hard about, because we already knew what we were doing. So we gave them all those tools, and we have heard nothing. MP Mingret, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, not for saving the UP or the National Alliance to get back into government, because it's not about that, but it's to save the country.
So first and foremost, thank MP Mingret for putting the country above self. I see everyone can make comments about MP Mingret and stating, oh, he had differences with the United People's Party, oh, how quick he forgot, oh, how quick he went back on his word. And he clearly stated he's not here as a member of the United People's Party, he's not here as a member of the National Alliance, he's here as Kevin Mingret, and he's doing this for the country. This is a definition of country above self. When you sit in a coalition, and I sit with MP Mingret for many, many weeks, and I speak, and he have said, MP, I want to give them a chance. MP, I want to give them a chance. But nothing is coming out of this. MP, we are in a coalition where we barely speak to each other. We sit in the Parliament Hall and we realize members of the then coalition would pass each other straight. Members of the then coalition would not communicate. We saw an article the other day where the chairperson of Parliament is asking the government, hey, what about the governing accord? There is nothing of substance coming out of this new government. I have said it, and I said it on the floor of Parliament. I refuse to believe that in the governing accord, it states that the Prime Minister should be picking up a barricade and using that as a press release or a point of achievement. I was in the Council of Ministers, and Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs had many unfinished tasks there. I have yet to see the Prime Minister meet with the World Bank. Housing project, renewable energy, all of these things were on the table, St. Martin. You ask VSR, what do we have? We have health levy that was there, that is finished, that is completed to save St. Martin. We have the SAHA. If you don't want to call it Atlee Care, don't call it Atlee Care. But when you, as a government, because of political reasons, tamper with the possibility of everyone in our population receiving health insurance, I have a major, major problem with this. So today, I'll piggyback and dovetail and say, Kevin Mingret, thank you for choosing St. Martin over self. Thank you for being man enough to sit here, look St. Martin in the eyes, and give your reasoning. It is easy for everyone to paint you black, but the country can be able to see that nothing has been done for the period of time that the then coalition has taken over. And you be the judge, St. Martin. And I would like to say one thing before I leave. Kevin Mingret joining this bloc does not cause elections. Kevin Mingret making a move to save St. Martin and join and give us aid does not call elections. Elections are called by Article 59 by the Council of Ministers. So let us see if the Council will now choose self above country and send us to the polls. Because they will try to blame Kevin Mingret and this coalition for election. But as it speaks, there is no elections called, and elections are only called if the Council of Ministers give the majority and agree to dissolve Parliament. I want that to sit with the public of St. Martin. Thank you.
For all of life's twists, turns, and defining moments, RBC is a blend for all of you. SXM, your social and health insurance is SXM, your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to smv.sx and sign up now.
Your social health insurance.
Said that they can't. It can't. I mean, we
can't.
have been known as a party to give you the truth, even if the truth is hard to handle sometimes. He just gave us examples of massive projects coming on board that our network can sustain. If our network can sustain one engine being down due to a rat incident again, I mean, I don't understand how you think new buildings coming on board can actually help us sustain this and avoid load shedding. No, the reality is you have to handle it right now. But I think what we have seen from the government that lost the election, who wants to be back in again, is a certainty that they can't handle it. They can't handle the GB debacle. They cannot. And what I want to say about GB again is, if you have a government that was actively involved in getting rid of the 3 managing directors during their 4-year tenure against proper, sound business and financial advice, and then here we are again in this year going through a recruitment process for those same 3 managing directors that they got rid of to be filled, obviously, by whoever is the right candidate for it. What does that tell you about them? You caused the problem. Here we are again, full circle, back to the problem you caused. We're still waiting for 3 managing directors to be put there at GB because of your fault and your political interference. Let's be real. So answering your question, Grace, I am sorry, public. I have no other better news for you than to make the right decision to put people who won't let GB unmanned, who won't have GB unmanned, who will give GB the right chance to actually listen to the employees who are telling you what's wrong, who are telling you what's wrong in the power plant, who are telling you what the company needs without trying to accommodate your friends.
Right. Now, while I have you on the mic, you stay right there.
You want me to take it back?
Yeah. Now, MP De Weaver, your seat was left vacant during several meetings in House of Parliament, and you were even called out for the show up message. Do you, well, of course, the public wants to know, because after the breakfast lounge yesterday, I received a call from a gentleman and he said, yeah, Lady Grace, you mentioned that the PFP will be here tomorrow, but is MP De Weaver coming? And I said, yes, she will be here. So now she's here. So let's answer the question.
So first I'm going to say that I didn't leave my seat vacant. I didn't give up my seat in Parliament. The good people of this country voted me in on January 11th, and I know that they will do it again for us coming up whenever these snap elections will be called. My seat was never left vacant. So I want to actually give this story so that we can actually put it to bed once and for all. Since election, I have been contacted by CFT. For those of you in the public, good morning again, who didn't know that I have been the chair of the Committee of Finance pretty much for most of the time that I was in Parliament. I became the chair of finance again. CFT was in contact saying, hey, we want a meeting with you. The meeting can only happen in April, the week of April, ending week of April 19th or the week of the 22nd. So I said, okay, actually, I'm waiting on a confirmation of an appointment. So let me make sure to see who's going to be the vice chair. So from back in January, I believe is when we actually had the ad hoc committees done. It may have been late January, early Feb. I knew that by the time I knew who our vice chair was, which was the then Minister of Finance, Ardwell Arian, and now our MP colleague, I said, okay, let me follow up with Ardwell CFT, which is just so for those persons listening in, CFT is the financial supervision, right? So we have to go through them to make sure our budgets are passed and make sure the way that we spend money is right, because we have squandered our money. We have done bad money management, financial management over the years, which is why we find ourselves in this position. And I said, okay, let me follow up with Ardwell. Ardwell said, I may be in DC for a trust fund. I'll let you know. The minute I knew that he could actually cover that meeting for me, potentially, I said, okay, CFT, let's book the meeting. We booked the meeting for April 22nd. Ardwell's going to cover. In the meantime, I don't have my confirmation. So I'm thinking that I was going to leave since April 18th, but I can if I don't have my confirmation of my appointment. So I said, you know what? I didn't get it. I showed up at the meeting on Monday, and then Admiral said, but you're here. And he said, you're here, so you get a chair. And when we have CFT meetings, it's always closed door. So I said, yeah, I'm here. Maybe I leave today. Maybe I leave tomorrow. I need my confirmation. So he said, well, if you're here, then you can chair the meeting. So I said, no problem. So they have known for over 2 months that in writing, which is the official legal way of notifying Parliament, that I may potentially not be here because I have been since January trying to book a date with CFT to come to St. Martin. Now, on the other hand, the week before, I think it was either the Friday the 19th, I was doing a recording. Again, I told Parliament via official means that I'm doing a recording. I will be late. So by the time I got to the meeting, I missed notifications. By the end of the meeting, MP Malid, Unle, that we know him, Cloyd, said, Ludi, you missed me taking shots at you, man. So I said, taking shots at me for what? What are you taking shots at me for? He said, for show up, because you don't show up. I said, but I'm here. I gave notification in writing, the official way, that I wasn't here. I said, but why are you so bothered, MP? I said, why are you so bothered that again, you attacking me, telling me, taking digs at me? He said, man, you know what they do to me last election? Last election, they take digs at me because I wasn't here working faction office for 4 years. So I said, but this is a yoga saying. It's a yoga inspirational saying that we say. For those that don't know, I practice yoga. I do. I said, but MP, why you take that so personal? I said, you're gonna stay bothered then. He said, because they take shots at me that I wasn't here. So to that, I will say this: don't blame me for why you suck. Don't blame me for why for 4 years the taxpayers paid you, and then you taking it out on me when I'm trying to inspire people. And I want to tell people, the public, where this message comes from. If you Google, if you ever go to a yoga class, if you ever talk to a yoga teacher, what they tell you is this: show up on your mat the way you show up in the rest of your life. Or they swap it and they say, show up in the rest of your life, the way you show up in the rest of your life, show up on your mat. So I did not know that my inspiration during the opening of Parliament, telling people, no matter how hard things get, show up. No matter when life tried to knock you to your knees, show up. It wasn't a personal attack on someone. And I want to make that very clear, because what people are used to from me is the truth.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
For all of life's twists, turns, and defining moments, RBC is a blend for all of you.
You mentioned that, so I assume that the Council of Ministers has met and voted and agreed with the invoking Article 59.
Yes.
You mentioned that it was sent to the governor.
Yep.
So is the governor in agreement and ready to sign off on that decree?
Yes, the governor is ready. He told me he has no other choice. He understands my position. And now, before signing, we just have to agree on the dates matching it with the demands of the Constitution for us to stay in the framework of respecting our Constitution, but still seeing that we accommodate all the phases heading towards election. And once we have the date set, it will be okay to sign, because the governor gave me already the consent that he realizes that we have no choice than to move forward with the snap election.
Prime Minister, you indicated that with the decision made to call for snap elections, that you're putting this decision back in the hands of the electorate.
Yes.
But given the fact that we have a, if I may use your own words, a bankrupt administration, don't you think that you are putting the country in a precarious financial situation by calling for snap elections, given that there is a new majority, irrespective of how you see that?
It's choosing between two bad things. If you're talking about a bankrupt country and you're talking about the price tag, I had two choices. Give the country back to a government that has severely depleted the cover of this country, or pay a price to get back a great government to move forward this country. So the price that I'm going to pay for this election is going to be much less than giving the former government again 4 years to govern this country. That's a decision that I made.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, are there any proposals on the table as to dates? You said, I know you did indicate that that still has to be decided on. And I would also like to ask, you mentioned the issue of Mullet Bay, and you believe that St. Martin should get first preference to purchase Mullet Bay. But we don't have money. So what are your ideas as to how we will buy this if this happens within the period that you're still in office? Thank you.
The Inia, the Mullet Bay is part now. I'm thinking about a good way to do it, not to compromise my plan to execute this for my people. You have to realize one thing that was a condition that I had on the table. You have to realize that something exceptional happened in the rescue approach for this Inia. As a public entity, we moved over to save a private entity. So we as a government does not have any obligation to refinance mismanagement of private institutions. And we did it. We took a risk to do it, and we are going to pay, if I'm not mistaken, $2.3 million per year for the coming 50 years. If you have followed the budget debate, for the coming 50 years, we're going to pay $2.3 million per year as a jest to the Inia, not to please Inia, but to make sure that the 3,000 people that have a commitment in their pension plan, for them to get continuity of a pension. That's why we did it. So now in my negotiation part on the table, I say if I'm as a public entity is helping you to save your business, now it's time for you to help me to help my people too. Because I didn't have the obligation to help you, but we did it, not because it was Inia, but because we had 3,000 families here depending on a pension payment. And that's why we did it. So we actually committed ourselves for $2.3 million per year for the coming 50 years. You can count that out, how much it will be. If we add $2 million more to it per year, in 50 years, you have already 100 millions. So if I see how I can manage with $2 million more in my budget for the coming 100 years, I will have that Mullet Bay for my kids and my grandchildren. I think it's a compromise that we can close without talking about the price tag of Mullet Bay, but I'm telling you how you have to see it. If I'm going to help Inia 50 years, Inia can help my people 50 years too, right? And then we can come to a payment settlement in that way. For example, if that is the route to solve the problem that we have as a country with an insurance company, I didn't say that we have to buy it, but in case it comes to buying, that is a way to look at it.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Any further questions for the Prime Minister?
One last.
Mr. Lee?
My colleague has asked whether ministers would make their position available, but I think it's important for the public to have a clear expectation.
Yes.
Are you saying that there would be, between now and elections, another government that would take office? Or are you saying that you'd make your positions available for after the elections? So I think it's just good that public expectations are clear.
We're going to send a letter today to the governor in which we hand over the resignation of Cabinet Marcelina. So it's clear, we are going to resign as a government, and that's why I have a COM meeting to get broad support for that letter, and we're going to hand over the resignation of this government.
But there needs to be a government in place.
And that's why he's going to take it in consideration and ask me to continue being responsible until a new government comes in after election.
Okay, just so that expectations are clear. Thank you.
Okay. Judy Fitzpatrick with a final question.
Thank you so much. I did ask earlier about a price tag for election. I don't know if you can provide clarity on that. And I also asked whether there are any dates, potential dates floating around, any proposals for...
No, a lot of dates has been mentioned. Actually, it's if you follow the Constitution already, you're very limited in the time span that you have to organize a election. But the problem that you always have is to accommodate all the facets leading to an election. For example, to give new political parties the opportunity to present their list, for example. And sometimes in that aspect, you get yourself in a conflict situation with what the Constitution gives you as space in time to organize an election. And for us to respect our Constitution, we are doing it carefully in negotiation and in deliberation with the governor and also with the Central Voting Bureau. But it's going to be sooner than later, the election of St. Martin. I think if we count, I think it's going to cost us about 500,000 Antillean guilders to organize a election for Country St. Martin. Approximately, standing here, giving you a rough calculation, it's going to cost you 500,000 guilders to organize an election for Country St. Martin.